Remember back in the shocks video how I said I was not a smart man for replacing all the parts at once? Well, we are gathered here today to add to that statement. This video is all about ball joints, specifically the front ones on Dora. I definitely, 100%, no doubt, installed the new ball joints when all of the other front suspension work was filmed. Anyone who says I didn't have the correct tools at the time when everything else was filmed and didn't replace the ball joints then is most definitely lying. You can't put anything on the internet that isn't true. Jokes aside, not having the correct tool didn't stop me from trying. I started with a simple pry bar, added some rust penetrant, used my handy dandy air hammer, started a fire, and pickled some forks, but to no avail. I did some research by looking at the Haynes manual, and they say the ball joints are not replaceable from the lower control arms. Did I ever tell you how I feel about engineering? Everywhere else on the internet said it could be done with the correct tools. So I now have the correct tools for the job, and a determination to prove Haynes wrong. Let's get to it. Here's the tools needed: the ball joint press kit, the ball joint separator, a 1 1/16 socket and your choice of ratchet, and a grease gun. The pickle fork was not helpful at all. And here's the new parts: the ball joint, the snap ring, the grease fitting, nut, and the cotter pin. As I stated earlier, I definitely replaced these when all the other suspension components were replaced. To save some time, I'm going to skip ahead to the ball joint section. Okay, stop right there. Perfect. Let's jump right in. Remove the cotter pin and the nut for the lower ball joint. Use the ball joint separator to separate the spindle from the ball joint shaft. Set the spindle off to the side.
Oh yeah.
Remove the snap ring from the top of the ball joint. Spray some rust penetrant to help with the joint removal. Select the correct size of the outer shell for the ball joint press. Position the press on the ball joint. Make a note of where the ball joint sits in the control arm. Only use a socket and ratchet or a wrench to turn the press. An impact gun can damage the threads on the press, which is not good, especially if you rent the tool. With some slow and steady work, the ball joint will come out of the lower control arm. When it is free, use a rag to clean the inside of the joint seat of any rust and debris. Swap the ends of the ball joint press to install the new ball joint. Press the ball joint into the original orientation as the old ball joint. Reinstall the snap ring and the grease fitting. Before moving on with installing the rest of the components, put a few squirts of grease into the grease fitting. Trust me, it's way easier when things are all apart. Now that the new ball joints are in, I'm going to fast forward to the test drive. Check out the other video for the rest of the suspension replacements. This is Rooster with one final bit of advice. Keep your balls and joints lubricated and they will give you fun for years.